All right, everybody, welcome back. Tonight is a bit of an adventure for us because we decided to do this on a whim. I'm back with my co-host from the other night, Vince. How you doing tonight, Vince?
So far, so good. We will find out shortly.
Right, right. That's funny. So we have another two games tonight. This first game is going to be from your bracket.
Yep.
This is Matt, which is Safeguard Matt in the bracket, but is also known as Matifer on YouTube. And then we have Weidman, which is Nick Weidman. And he's been a longtime patron. And these guys both play a lot of cards.
Yeah, that seems to be the word on the street. You may have heard some of these names in other content creation circles as well. Just a little bit. Not going too far into it, but yeah, they're. I guess they'd qualify as household names.
I mean, Nick has definitely been around for sure. Oh, God, what did he just do?
He is. So I was trying to figure out. I thought they were shoe boxes, but those are Combiner Wars gift set boxes. So I didn't catch. That might have. I didn't catch which combiner was. He got the mat on just real quick.
Right. I definitely was confused. I'm like, what was that?
I'm not entirely sure why he's doing that.
I don't know. It's definitely a setup, obviously. So.
Yep. Now, to be fair, well, I guess fair isn't the right word, but those boxes are not that big, but he is running a very, very tall team. So I guess it's fitting that they're sitting on top of Combiner's Word boxes.
Yes. So Matt pretty much refused to proxy anything. So that's why we are seeing this dual Prime Magnus deck. And it's just a Wave 4 deck. I don't think there's a single battle card from Wave 5 in it, and all we have now is this Heroic Spotlight.
Yeah.
So, other than that, we see what we've seen a fair amount of at this point on this channel. Since Wednesday night, we had 2 Horrible Sky Shadows. This is our 3rd Horrible Sky Shadow in the deck.
I'm sensing a theme.
I'm sensing a theme that this is clearly a good deck in the meta.
Yes. So the Horrible Sky Shadow deck definitely has made its impression on all of the competitors, one way or another. And on the other side, we have, I guess we can call him the Lorax because he is trying to save the trees. I don't know. No proxies.
Yes. I guess that's a thing.
It's been a long week, and just like last time, man, I almost started out with the screaming intro. But man, I'm tired. It's been a long week.
That was just so, random that I'm like, I don't even know how to act to it. Like, that's how random it was.
I mean, we were talking about wrestling last time. We tried the Jerry the King Lawler impression or something the next go around. I got to practice.
Oh, you know what? That's okay. I think from our friend Brian, if he's in chat, shout out to him. He said he goes you guys were a lot of fun. He goes, it felt a lot like King and Lawler. I was like,
nice.
I'm sorry, JR and the King. I'm like, that is the greatest compliment I could receive ever. So I'm just gonna take it and just walk away and say thank you.
I miss that comment, but we'll save this other one for offline. But remind me to tell you some stories about Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, funny story, chat. Here you go. We're all gonna learn this. The first wrestler I'd ever seen in person was Bam Bam Bigelow.
Really?
Yes, in the Chamonix Mall during one of those because they used to do these weird shows where you would have all the sports memorial and stuff like that, and one day he must have been doing a signing there, but this had to be before his signing, and I walk up to this stand and there's a dude that's 7 foot tall. I'm just like, oh my god, that guy's huge. And then I looked and I noticed the tattoo on his head. I was like, holy crap, that's Bam Bam Bigelow.
To be fair, that guy stands out relatively easily. You're gonna notice if he's around.
Yes.
And just a bit. Yeah, I have. There's some stories to tell about Bam Bam Bigelow, but like I said, we'll save that for another day because it's another topic. And
I'm all for it. So we are gonna get ready to go. I'm gonna check with the competitors. I'm gonna let them know that they can get this game started.
All right.
All right, guys, you are officially ready to go. I am starting the timer now. Good luck. All right, I gotta go over here. I gotta fix this and go 0-0.
So they're rolling on screen, so we can actually
0,
see.
1. Oh, I'm glad you're paying attention. Start.
I was looking at one half and missed the other roll, so womp womp. I saw the energy on dice hit the table real quick. So we do have our tall deck featuring Ultra Magnus and the Magnus armor. Obviously, the spotlight gives him a little bit of breathing room to make sure it's included. It's definitely a cute idea to be able to run Magnus armor because it's something that it just never really quite got off the ground.
I mean, the cool thing about it is in this format, the defense matters a lot more than the tough. So having that starting defense is, that's nothing to shy about. He's going to be tough to hit.
Yeah.
I mean, the piercing black is going to get around it, but he's not going to get any lucky out of the extra oranges in his deck and stuff like that because he has that stellar starting defense.
Yep, and there's the damage reduction on the armor itself.
Right. The
direct damage.
Right. So that just gets around the horrible to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
It's been interesting too because it first is all the direct damage at Optimus. Or wait, does it read that no one can take it? Is that exactly what that card reads?
No, it reduces it by 1, I believe. As you can tell, this is not a card that comes up all that often.
Yes, I'm actually gonna confirm exactly what it says for a moment here.
Yeah, I'm skipping over to Fortress Maximus real quick. Shout out to Fortress Maximus.
Always.
Fortress Maximus. Wow, can't get that out. So we put a little bit of damage on the Sky Shadow plane. That seems to be the logical target. To some extent, because it's probably your first attacker with the Sky Shadow deck. However,
he took a whop out of him. He almost got there.
Yeah, I mean Magnus is pretty big.
Right, and I agree. So this actually has to change Nick's play to a certain extent, and also Nick has to now be weary of direct damage. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't types of play here. Because if he doesn't attack with the plane, and then he just gets zapped, and he loses the plane attack, that's going to end up being a really, really good missed attack. And then if he does send him, well, he's not going to get to attack with a tank. So no matter what here, he could be in a spot where he's going to lose an attack.
Now, given that his opponent's too tall, that looks like a Camion crash there.
Mm-hmm.
Given that his opponent's too tall, do you feel that it's that big of a deal if he combines this early and loses the tank attack?
Truthfully, no. I don't.
I think he's going to be mostly fine.
Yeah, I think he's probably very, very favored in this matchup, if we're being honest. But it would have been one way to try and help Matt is if he could have gotten that out of the way, if he could have just cleared 2 attacks immediately.
Yeah, made it even right from the start.
But this also presents another type of play here where if he has the direct damage, he can still shoot the plane and then maybe try and come in big at the Sky Shadow itself, So if you're able to get away with that, then you're in business. So maybe that's just the way we're gonna have to go with for Matt. And I'm gonna check over Matt's list right now, actually,
right,
to see how much direct damage he has in the lineup. Where are we, Matt? Here we are.
So it looks like he ended up tagging Magnus for 4, which, despite all the armor and it looked like there was a blue in there, I couldn't quite tell. It's still a sizable amount.
Right. So it looks like Matt's list only has 3 javelins, so that's actually not going to help take it out of combat. So that's the kind of the unfortunate thing there. But he gets if he has the javelin, he'll get to tag the tank for 2 damage before they combine. So at least he can potentially get 12 damage onto Sky Shadow before combine.
Right.
And he will still have a healthy 2 attackers. So I don't know that the Sky Shadow will be able to come in and just KO one of these guys.
Yeah, because Prime is going to be exposed, I think he actually has a shot at it because he can bolt him and then get in there for a pretty big chunk. So he may be able to one-shot Prime since Ultra Magnus is not in the Brave mode.
Right. I still want to double-check exactly what that... I didn't get around to finding the card.
The armor, it's if the upgraded character would take non-attack damage, it instead takes that much -1.
Okay, so it's not that it's not like he could choose to deal damage or something to.
Yeah, it's not like a Menasor where it forces you to put the damage somewhere else, or it doesn't actually force you, but obviously you want to put it somewhere else.
All right, so this isn't bad. He gets the guy off the table, and he has 2 weapons / armors that give him armor on defense also. So he has some healthy characters here.
Yeah,
and Nick's only going to be able to play 2 cards and flip his bull, and if he does that, his bull's going to be only a 3 attacker. So
right, and he doesn't look like there's a secret action out in play on Matafor's side as well.
Yes, he does. So I think that could be sabotage armaments. I believe he runs those, if I'm remembering correctly here. So that does give himself a little bit of protection for sure. So there's a good chance that he gets out of this round with both characters alive.
So it doesn't appear. Oh, I guess he bolted Prime.
Yes. Well, he has to, right? He can't just bolt Magnus.
Well, he could. It would just.
Oh, it would do two. Right.
Yeah, it's just going to do less. So
that seems not good enough. Oh, so there is a one of Heroic Resolve in the list. So that actually could be really big.
That would be a huge blowout. Well, maybe not a blowout, but like that would be a big swing.
If his character was able to survive the first attack, and then on the second attack, if it was the Heroic Resolve or trigger, that would actually be very, very strong, because he would get to untap and attack again.
Yes.
Other than that... Yeah, he has 3 Sabotage Armaments and 1 Heroic Resolve. So that's where we're at.
Interesting. Okay. So it definitely seems like our Sky Shadow players... I was about to see what's going on with that secret action there, but looks like our Sky Shadow players just calculating some things out. The Plasma Burst Rock Toss comes out.
We're throwing some rocks. I love when we throw rocks.
Look, it's like a big kaiju fight. They tear off chunks of the building, and they just start beating the snot out of each other with it.
Hey, that's fine. But, getting that 2 damage is good. Like,
yeah.
I've never felt good about playing Rock Toss, other than, like at EI when we were playing Limited, where I was like, all right, this card's okay. But, when you play Rock Toss with Horrible, you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd lead to that conclusion rather than just I felt better about Rock Toss, because I'll be honest, I still don't like Rock Toss, but Horrible makes it all right.
It's passable. It's passable.
Yes, I will accept it. All right, so he does decide to go for the Fling.
Now he could move damage to the Magnus here if he wanted, but it looks like he's going to just try and KO the Optimus Prime here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a grenade launcher. So either way, the Heroic Resolve or the Sabotage will end up being good here.
Now, do you think that it would be more appropriate to try and put it on Sky Shadow to just really lay into something, or do you think he's fearing Sabotage and that's why spread it out?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Nick did the star count and could even figure out there was Heroic Resolves in the list, because without the stratagem, I don't think it's possible, if I'm correct. So it's one of those where if he decides to go into that way, it's complicated, because if he doesn't, if he feels he can get just a good attack off with Sky Shadow itself, because he only has 7 health left. That Sky Shadow just flipped for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he had a shot at KOing there.
Right.
But there it is.
It is the Heroic Resolve.
So he did KO and he gets the Heroic Resolve. So this forces Nick, basically to have to waste his horrible attack and that grenade launcher into that Optimus Prime now. Which don't get me wrong, he'll still be in great position, but it's still like one of those I have to waste so many resources just to kill a 1 health Optimus now.
I mean, is there an argument to, and this is me just playing devil's advocate, is there an argument to just pushing more damage on Ultra Magnus and then pinging Optimus away next turn? Do you think he'll live? I don't think he'll live. Horrible, that is.
The question will be if Horrible gets to untap. And with that Optimus having a 10 attack with the Ion Blaster, then there's a chance that your Horrible's not going to untap,
Yeah.
And then if that's the case, then you have to have another direct damage for... Yeah, so he did opt to go there. Like I said, I think it would be very, very scarce to just let that Optimus stay on the table, because if he does crack back and you now are forced to have a direct damage in your hand, it might have been really awkward. So it also might have been based off Nick's hand. If Nick has it, then Nick has it. Just to interfere with chat, his webcam is fine. I am super zoomed in on his screen because he is his webcam is really high in the air, so that's why it looks that way.
His webcam looks like it's hanging from the ceiling.
Yes, it does.
It straight up looks like it's rigged up through a chandelier or something.
It's very, very high up there. That's why it's for him, I'm actually super zoomed in to even get the mat on the table. Otherwise, it would be way worse. Trust me. So this is just a tough position for Matt here. This is he has to attempt to get Sky Shadow off the table, right? That's the way you save the most damage.
I would agree, but I mean, aside from yes, that would be a good way. So Magnus is what, base 6?
I believe it's 5 or 6. Yeah,
he's base 6, so 8 right now, considering the Magnus armor
plus the Noble's Blaster.
Yep, it's Yeah, that's going to be a mean shot.
Mm,
Is it though?
yeah, that looked a little weak.
Is it though?
He definitely flipped the wrong side of his deck on that attack.
Womp womp. I mean, obviously, he is leaning into the Ultra Magnus effect,
right?
To some extent.
Right.
Wow, he didn't get there.
He just missed. Yep, he needed one more orange. Yeah, that's a rough miss there. That's probably just going to ensure the game.
Then I guess he didn't trigger the Magnus ability, the ping either.
The Magnus is double orange, double blue, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he only hit one orange.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was one or two, but I was pretty confident it was two of each, and he definitely went blue, 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 white, white, orange.
That is a feels bad, and that's I mean, if that's not definitely the game,
it's most certainly game. I would say yes.
Yes.
There's no way that he's going to survive these two attacks, but he does. He had another secret action, which I imagine it can't be another resolve, so it has to be just the sabotage armaments.
Yep. Fight for position onto that Sky Shadow for bold infinity, and that's a lot of oranges.
Right.
If he's not, since you're saying it's only sabotage, if that's not an end hostility, I mean, even if it was an end hostilities,
that's where his deck was. Okay, I actually his deck is in the middle of the table, which confused me. I thought that was actually a secret.
Oh, SA, yeah.
I thought that's what I didn't realize. I didn't realize it was his deck until right now.
Yeah, we'll have to remind them, put a marker on there so we know.
Yeah.
So that looks like what 16 damage on there right now.
And he just has Pierce whatever, so yeah, it's good enough. He's gonna clean it up.
That would be the ball game, folks.
Right.
Lyle Kaiser goes down. Combiner Wars turned off. On to game 2.
I believe the head is Grax. I'm pretty sure.
The head is Grax on Horrible, if that's the question.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this briefly earlier, Dan, but this is mostly how you anticipated it to go, given the lineups.
I mean, it was the story of ones right there. I mean, he missed twice. He missed the one on Shadow and left him at 9, and then he missed one on Shadow again and left him on 19. So, like, if he's able to get one of those hits, it definitely changes game state a pretty fair amount.
Absolutely.
But it's still a tough ask for sure.
Well, by the same token, he also hit the one of heroic resolve.
Well, that was the other thing. Is the one thing there, which was big, was the idea that if Nick were to attack a different route, or he hadn't gotten enough to KO the Optimus there, the resolve would have been even better. It just didn't happen that way, so that's kind of where it just ended.
Right. Yeah,
hey guys, just checking in. There's about 47 minutes left in round. Good luck, guys.
Tell them about the marker. Oh. The marker.
Also, Matt, if you lay a secret action for me, can you please just put a marker on it so we know? Thank you.
Tell him put Ultra Magnus on it. It would be funny.
Put the giant Ultra Magnus as your marker. All right. Thanks a lot.
No, he really should. He really shouldn't do that because it's going to obscure the whole board. So this is a terrible idea. I apologize to everyone. But it's funny to me.
When it happens, guys. When it happens, it happens. Hi, Oliver.
Oh, boy.
Ollie's saying hi to stream. Daddy has to sit here and do stream. It's in between games, so you have some attention.
What it do, little guy?
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a gander at the list here.
See what boarding options we got.
Yeah. I have to go to Nick's list again.
Yeah, given Matt's tall-ish start, I'm very curious what he had boarded to try and go into, because your options are clearly limited, just kind of by definition.
So Nick has a counter-espionage, some end hostilities, a hold the line, and some porting fires. A bashing shield and belligerence. He definitely boards the bashing shield in. That's probably obvious.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is true.
And I guess you just board in belligerence as well. And you might even consider bringing in the end hostilities also, to be honest. I don't know that you need the counter-espionage. Obviously he doesn't know how many secrets that Matt's running, but that, like you said, that he knows that there's only one like there can only be one heroic resolve just by the numbers. So I don't think I'd be like, all right, he got that one resolve, fine, you know.
Do you think that tilts him enough to bring it in anyway?
I mean,
you just go, no, that's not happening twice.
I just know the numbers, so I just wouldn't be scared of it. I guess that's just me.
You wouldn't. I would be tilted enough because it would drive me crazy. But anyway,
it happens. Well,
okay, so
right into it.
So Matt's choosing to go first and
Again,
charging in.
It's like I said, I think that's the right play because you need. I think that's like, oh, he's gonna get horrible this turn. That's an interesting one because like he's not gonna be able to get to attack horrible again. So I think I would have just tried to play the numbers and tried to KO the plane there.
If he had more out of combat damage, I think they would be fine. But right, yeah, you're not killing that horrible.
So here's the thing, Matt has photon bombs in the board.
Does he? So, I was busy. My eyes got big at that octone in the board. So
right. So I imagine you board those in here because like that's not a bad card at all against Sky Shadow. It's basically just 4 damage twice. So
yeah, I can see it. It's interesting why he included them. It definitely makes sense from a logic standpoint. If you're the taller deck, probably in every scenario by virtue of the way you start out. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that he would go that route. Now, is that a played disassemble?
Yeah, it's going to take out the armor.
Okay, they were waiting a second. I'm like, that's the only target. What's happening right now?
I think he was talking about if he could target the Magnus with the damage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I don't believe he can. Cause,
he could. It'll just do nothing.
Right. Yeah, the trigger for Horrible would go on the stack and have to resolve before the removing of the armor.
Right.
And here goes the swing. 4, 8. So we got 8 Pierce 4 or Pierce 3.
Now I've bashing shielded Magnus armors off Magnus and then attacked, and it felt fantastic. So this probably feels good to get in there because his astonishing single point of defense is just not getting it done here.
Yeah, we've seen this theme a lot of one defense characters throughout all of our streaming. They haven't fared
even
well.
Before that, yeah.
Well, yeah, specifically though, since since April, where all like the Windsweepers and the Brainstorms of the world, like all those 1 health characters that we were testing, and even Bludgeon, like none of them fared very well, and that 1 armor definitely looked to be a big problem for them.
Yeah. That Magnus, if he doesn't get suited up or something else happens, he's not long for the world, despite the huge amount of hit points.
Right, and even on the opposite, we've seen how good smaller, lower cost characters with the 2 armor have made a difference. Because like Absolutely. Right here, I don't know, he's gonna have to go pretty over the top to KO this plane, and he's gonna have to commit to it for sure. So. And it looks like he's only going to have this javelin. I don't think that's going to get there. He might even shoot the javelin at the bull.
I was about to say, is he going to fling it at Horrible? Is he not flinging it?
Okay.
He's just, they got it.
All right, so he did fling it at the bull. So
I felt like that was coming. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with it, but
yeah, I don't know. I think you just I understand why we're doing it because he doesn't like this enables if Nick doesn't have a Peace to Tyranny. That he won't get the big attack, unquote. So he's only going to have 2 smaller attacks here, and maybe that is a way for Matt to survive. To be honest,
it's possible, yeah.
Now, obviously, if he has the Peace to Tyranny, the game's over.
But if that happens, I mean, what are you going to do about it? You just have to. I don't know that Matt had another line to do.
Right.
Or to
so
take at this stage.
Like you said, if you're not confident in thinking that you can't take away the attack from the door. Or you don't have the direct damage in hand to take away the attack and then, capitalize and take away the bigger Sky Shadow attack. I think this is actually a pretty good line of play. Because there's a chance that there's a better chance his guys get out of this mode unscathed.
Did he just... Oh, okay, he's flipping. I was like, wait a second, did he kill his Horrible?
No, he dealt the damage and then he flinged.
It's a played Fusion Borer onto the tank, so...
Yeah, so the tank's looking at 7 Pierce 3 to start.
Not bad.
No, card's good.
It's okay. It seems okay.
So 8 Pierce 5. So he's gonna get 5 damage on the whatever character you decide to attack there. I think it's probably Magnus.
Oh, I see 3 flip cards, so maybe it's Prime.
Oh yeah, that's right. Prime has the tough.
Oh God, Matterfer. Oh no.
Oh, it was Magnus. Okay, yeah, they cleared it up. He
Okay.
just put it back on top, so he did it himself.
Nice. Got it.
Which makes sense. It makes sense for Nick to want to get the Magnus off the table if he can.
Yeah,
Which he might. I don't know. Are we at 15 or is that 13? That might be 13.
I think that's their fifth. Yeah, I can't quite tell. I'll be honest.
If it's 15, I believe he gets them, right? Yeah, okay, so it was 15. If it was 13, he would have survived there, though, because Nick didn't flip an orange.
Yeah.
So this is, like, obvious worst-case scenario here. He needed a guy to live. It's just that simple. And without a guy living, there's just nothing. Like, he's just going to get, no matter what line of play he goes, he's just about to get attacked by, like, 4 dudes.
Now, of note, here's the thing. The Magnus is actually a double-edged sword in many other respects, but specifically the one I'm talking about is his strafing run effect is a global strafing run. It's a magnetic dysfunction ray, not a strafing run. So even if he managed to squeak by, he might have just been up a creek
like that
by virtue of his own build.
That javelin's not even good enough to KO the horrible out of combat to try and get a 2-for-1 here. So
no, you're...
Because the horrible has 14 health, and it's only 11, so he doesn't even have it. I mean, like, if he has a photon bomb here, it would make it interesting. But I still think he would put himself in too much of a range to just get KO'd.
I agree. It's the Sky Shadow crackback is just gonna
like
crush some dreams.
Even here, like, let's just say you attack the bull and throw the 2 at the tank.
It looks like he's doing.
Right? Like, I probably would have just threw the tank there, but I imagine he's going to KO the bull, but, the plane and the tank and Grax are still going to swing back, and just the amount of pure Pierce in the deck, it's probably going to end up being enough.
Yeah, they'll wear you down at that stage. It's just a matter of, I would say a matter of time, but it's maybe one turn.
I imagine I don't think he's going to get to untap.
A lot of cards in Matterfer's hand that didn't end up getting to see play because of how quickly.
I wonder, like, did he have that many? Like, because he didn't play in action. He had,
I wonder if his hand was just horrendous.
Yeah. Here's our first crack. That's a big one.
Oh boy.
That is 8 Pierce 3.
It's a good start.
And so he gets 4. So he takes 4.
I mean, given that he was starting with damage on him, that it's probably good enough. Like you said, the sheer quantity of black pips, it appears that's innate in the deck. It's just.
I mean, that's 5. I mean, that's 5 Pierce 1. So, like, that's not as good, obviously. Like, he can defend this one off. So he might. I don't know. He might be able to untap here. So he's only gonna take 1 damage here. And the Grax, unless it flips 3 black flips, like, he's not gonna get that much out of Grax either. But it could happen. And you're at 5.
Pierce 1, 5 Pierce 2.
So chances are he's going to get 2 or 3 damage here, which I believe will keep the Optimus alive.
3, 6, 9, 10.
Yeah, so
it looks like it's on him.
He'll take 1. If there's 10 on him, he's going to take 4. He's going to take 2, so he's going to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets untapped, but like we said, he'd have to have.
Yeah.
He'd have to have.
Photon Bomb's not going to do it because he'll kill himself.
Right, and now. Yeah, there's actually like no good way out of this at this point, because even if he had a 3rd javelin, it's not doing him anything. He would need he at this point he would need javelin, and then he'd have to KO the Grax on attack and have heroic resolve. Like, that's like his only out to surviving a turn.
I think he flipped the heroic resolve in one of those. I think. I agree.
That is the literal only out.
I think maybe that's what he's looking for right now is the heroic resolve, because if it's in there.
But like I said, he would also have to have the 3rd javelin, so he would need a lot of help.
But like a gentleman, he's pieced through Terry.
Way to go, Matt. That's how we PTT. I like it. Oh, he's just playing it. He's not even attacking.
The gentleman's play.
Come on. All right. He's actually going to go through it. It's fine.
You have to respect the dedication.
Right. No, Clayton, the Heroic Resolve would have been fine because he could have KO'd the Grax and then KO'd the... I mean, he still is going to end up dying. Don't get me wrong here. But he would have gave him another turn to try and be cute, is really what I was getting at. But he would inevitably he would have been KO'd to the Ominous attack.
Yeah, he would have to... I don't think he had any outs to the Ominous attack whenever that rolled around.
Right.
So... you gonna check in with them?
Yeah, I will check in with them.
Cool. I have all the power in chat. I don't know if they can still hear me or if you muted both of us. Okay. I am not looking at chat at the moment. I should probably pull that up. Let chat know, sure. Everybody thinks I'm crazy talking to myself, but actually I'm conversing with Dan, believe it or not. We're going to get the next game configured as quickly as we can, but obviously we've got to do a little bit of cleanup for this one. So
I can play next whole game. Yeah. Sure. I know. Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Good night.
look, Clayton, I lose every argument. Ask my wife. Or at least she thinks I lose every argument. Yeah, I know. I got to drop out of this one.
Hello.
All right, gentlemen. Now we're in the new call. Where? Yeah, as soon as I turn on video. Yeah, can you hear us, Ken?
Yep, I can hear you well. Hold on a second.
Hello?
I can hear you, Neil. All right, I'm going to mute everyone in the call right now and mute myself, so they should not be able to hear me now.
How do I turn the webcam on in the call like this? Oh, here we go. I found the button that looked like a camera.
Not Dan mode. All right.
Yeah, but I get like 30 seconds of fame out of it.
There you go.
I have regular ones if you can't read them. Like, I didn't know how that would work.
So we're getting the setup going. Dan is laughing at.
I disagree because I watched you heal 4 damage off your Night Racer in today's YouTube video
of the proxies, which you'll see momentarily.
No, not Dan mode. Oh boy.
So just bear with us for a couple more minutes, guys. We're almost there.
Hey, I did it in like the last 10 minutes while watching the other game.
I'll admit.
Okay. Okay. I have 5 dice.
What is going on, Dan?
The number of cards in my hand is not a 6-sided dice worth. Okay.
Don't worry, Jake. You'll see that shortly.
So I have 2 questions before we start, just to make sure that I'm on the right page here. If we go to time, at the end of time, we go until all bots are tapped. When does that check? Like,
I don't.
Okay, perfect. And yeah,
What is he asking, Dan?
And when I play a showing off, I get to choose
Okay.
the order of triggers of my Springer. They happen at the same time. If I play showing off and I flip Springer twice, I pick the order because they come from the same source. Okay, so I don't pick the order. I resolve going backwards. So if I'm in truck mode and I play showing off, I have to resolve discard action first, then discard upgrade. Okay, perfect. Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to. No.
Almost
I think
there,
I'm
it
good.
sounds like, folks.
All right, so we've got private fire drive.
Sorry, you muted for them?
Back to chat. Hey guys, we're gonna start setting this up now. I had to go over rules and stuff and was asked rules questions. So, fun stuff. Here we go. Bam. Oh, we got some work to do. Oh, all right, guys.
Oh, no.
We got some work to do. Okay.
At least we got the questions out of the way before, things were actually happening.
So I'm just going to do this the simple way, and I'm literally going to just delete this one. All right, so... You guys all get to get a lesson in OBS. Boom.
It's always fun. I mean, we could set up extra scenes. I was looking into some Stream Deck stuff that we could do to make this a little bit quicker.
I thought about it too. I could get on beforehand with everyone and do it that way, and that would probably be fine. But I thought the other night when I messed with it for Cameron, I'm like, man, that was dumb. I should have just deleted it and started over, and it would have been so much better.
Yeah, it's cleaner
exactly
to
what I
start
just
from scratch than yeah.
So if you can see it on screen, like I've just did that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It looks 1,000 times better. So.
Yeah, it's much quicker to do it that way.
Once again,
which is weird to think about, but
you guys can all appreciate Mr. Neil's tokens here. Me and Neil like to joke a lot.
None of those characters are actually Perceptor, for the record.
Nope,
everybody.
Nope. So I told Neil off stream that now I get to pick on him for the next foreseeable future while he's on my stream. So this will be a fun time for me, guys. I am sorry to say that Neil is playing combo.
Yeah, although to be fair,
unless
the last I saw, it's not quote unquote true combo.
There you go. So this is definitely a very different, not a very different looking combo, because it's the same characters and same idea and same concept, but we do not have a daring escape.
Exactly. That was where I was going with it, that it's not quite what you'd expect. Now, I'm curious to see how this shapes up given all of that, because obviously he could drop the combo at some point, although it's less likely given this configuration. He also, I'd have to go back and look at his sideboard, which I can't while I'm looking at chat, but I'm not sure what his PTT plan is or whether it's going to matter against Ken's list.
I do not believe it's going to matter against Ken's list, but it most certainly will matter against a lot of other decks in the meta.
Okay, so he does have an actual strategy there.
I don't know that he does, for what it's worth.
Okay. Is that an actual statement, or is that a dig at Neil? Dig number one. We'll keep score. Dig number two, folks.
Hey, listen. Me and Neil talked about this list quite a bunch before he decided to enter it into the tournament. And I had said multiple times that I would definitely play Daring Escape in it. So, whether he chose to or not is up to him. He decided not to.
Well, even aside from that, not to break your train of thought, but as a combo aficionado, I'll say, upon seeing his deck list, I had a lot of questions, and that's not meant to be derogatory. It was just, that's interesting that you went this route, So I'm very anxious to see how this shapes up.
Right. It's that, like I said, it's very different. And like when we were discussing it, I was like, I believe what you're trying to do definitely works. I believe you can get into a lock, but my issue is that I would never not play the daring, because if you are fearing of a card like Peace to Tyranny, you need a card like Daring Escape.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't play it and you don't respect it, you may get punished for it. Now, once again, in this particular matchup, because we have a blue Sky Shadow list, we do not have any Peace to Tyrannies in Ken's list. So...
Mm-hmm. When I was saying that earlier, I was coming from the other end. I'm very curious what the combo build Peace Through Tyranny plan is of its own volition. The reason I point that out is you realistically only have one PTT target pre-board.
Right. Where did my other marker go? Something broke. Oh, there we go. Aha!
Uh-oh.
That was interesting. That was weird. We're back. We fixed it.
Oh, you don't have things locked? Is that what happened?
Apparently. Well, because I'm editing it. I guess you can lock it after you set it? Is that a thing? And I just don't know about it? Oh, okay.
You should be able to.
Well,
Jempty, no, you can. Yes and no. It depends. So you can be very close, but sometimes you're just not, or the more appropriate plan, depending on the board state, is to just lock them out, quote-unquote, forever, depending on the deck.
Right, so as you guys will see, Neil's plan here is kind of the version of the deck that me and Vince had worked on back in Wave 4, where it was very focused on EMP Wave. So, like, it was like kind of like it was like, basically it was an alt-win condition of like, all right, well, I can't DE this turn, but I'm just going to EMP Wave, and then my opponent can't do anything. Nick is all in on that play, and then just all in on dealing damage with his Brawn. And throughout the course of the tournament, I think we're going to see if that's going to pay off.
Now, to be fair, I do have a history lesson for that.
Yeah.
The original EMP Wave idea was highlighted by one of the guys from Michigan, I believe, and his name is escaping me, so if he's out there in chat or he hears this later, I'm sorry. But he was playing an orange list at EI with RC. So it's a very similar idea, and given the pseudo mixed pick nature of the combo deck, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, you could just dump Fire Drive on Springer and just get in there.
Right.
So I don't know that Braun's the appropriate, but he is sturdy enough on his own. I waffle back and forth.
Right. Like I said, I told him, I was like, me and Vin have talked plenty about combo throughout, to be honest, and we had discussed many different ways and many different routes of how we would do it. And this is definitely just another variation of that. There's nothing wrong with trying out. And I told him, I was like, to be honest, like we have just brainstormed. We have never once gone through and said, all right, this is the list we're going to do. So, this is something that probably looks pretty close to where we would end up. But I think we both agree that I don't think I would pass on playing Daring Escape. So
no, because yes, you can win by locking them out after 1,000 turns. Why not just win now?
Right. That's always been my thing. Is like I could 3 you or 4 you or 5 you to death, or I can just say, all right, the game is over. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yep. You ready to start the firing gun?
I will get ready. I have to reset the timer real quick.
Yep.
Stop. All right. Okay, guys. Time and round is about to begin. Good luck, and I will talk to you after game 1.
And here we go.
Begin. Start. All right. So, for anyone that's familiar with combo, most of this is going to look very, very familiar, and it'll pretty much be the same. On Ken's side, we have a Windsweeper Sky Shadow deck. It looks like he's forced to go first.
Yep.
So, like I said, the issue here for Ken is I don't think I'm going to go and look exactly at his list. I don't know how many interactions he actually has with combo, and I think that's going to be the downfall of this matchup. And I've preached it to anyone that asked before the event and leading up to the event. They said, "Do you think you would plan for combo?" And I said, if I was going to a major event, I would 100% be planning for combo. There's no reason not to, because there's nobody said that it wasn't going to exist or that it went away.
Yeah, although there were new tools, you still have to play said tools. The speed traps exist. The other interactions with combo, counter espionage or espionage or whatever route you want to go exist, but you have to include them. And based on what you're saying, it does not sound like Ken is sporting any of those.
Right. All right. So we have our first kinetic converter here. So that's going to draw him an extra card every single time he flips. So it just basically reads now, I discard 1 card, I draw 3 cards.
So he should have like 1,000 cards in hand now. Now, is that a hollow matter projector?
That is a hollow matter projector. Yeah, that was one of the.
I think I remember that.
It was one of the tech cards to try and avoid Horrible, because I did make claim that I'm like, listen, like if you don't respect, if you think you're gonna win a game through Brawn, you need to have cards that are gonna like protect you against Horrible, because like Horrible could literally just erase Brawn from the table if all it wanted to do was target that. So like the hollow matter projector was
especially
definitely
with his version.
Right. So the hollow matter was definitely a card he brought in, and he decided to play because he had to have some type of protection against the direct damage, because that is really like his worst way to lose.
Yes.
Is just because like he can't do anything.
All right, so Ken greened something back there. It was a little quick, so I didn't catch it, but he pitched the bigger they are. But I agree with you. Because of the way he's going without the DE, your opponent still gets a turn. They may not get to attack, but they get to draw, they get the action, they get the upgrade play, and Horrible could ping somebody down.
Right.
Or you could armed hovercraft and ping a bunch of people down.
Right. And as I said, like a character like Horrible in this meta, you know, if his plan is to just 3 and 3 and 3 and 3, well, it's going to take 5, 6, you know, maybe more attacks to down that Horrible. So he had to have some type of protection to keep his guy alive.
So is that like Mickey
this.
Mouse ears on top of a tooth? What is the 1 on those dice?
I imagine it's a logo for a game store, maybe. I don't know.
I guess it looks like a tooth to me. Yeah, that's a little creepy.
He told me he only had 5 dice total, so I think we're already out of dice.
Oh no. So that's another. I can't quite tell what that top card is. Is that the when they force you to discard, you draw a card, counter intrusion measures?
Infusion measures. Is that what that card's called? Infusion measures, right?
Counter intrusion measures.
Counter intrusion measures. Yeah, he
super long name.
I'm trying to remember exactly. Oh, his dream for the tournament is to play that in response to a system reboot. I'm like, that'll be pretty sweet.
That would be sweet. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's unlikely, but you never know.
Well, there are system reboots in the game. So
well, yeah, but just the combination of all the other things. So we have another card that has been in various combo lists. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, reclaiming conversion engine seems pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he got what he needed out of the kinetic converter already, to be honest. So like now it's at the point in the game where he's just like, all right, I'm gonna go get my conversion engine. I'm gonna start this lock. So this is where this is at the point now. It's not fully official yet where it's gonna happen right now, but it's definitely safe to where he could throw his. Did
he draw off the converter?
Yes, he would have. Yeah.
Well, he should have. Did he? I
yes,
didn't catch
he did.
He did.
He did.
Okay.
He announced it. I saw him point to it, so he definitely did.
Okay.
Yeah, so like you can send Braun in here, but I'm actually a little more afraid that Braun could get KO'd. I actually think I would have just sent the Springer here, knowing that like my opponent likely cannot KO Springer at this point, especially if your plan is to keep Braun alive, you know, the entire game.
Yeah. I think Braun is the important piece here because I don't anticipate Fire Drive is going to croak anytime soon.
Right.
And it's going to be difficult. Well, maybe not difficult to engineer a scenario where he does, because he could hypothetically die on the next attack at post wheel. I mean,
yeah,
but
it looks like he may already have the EMP wave set up, so it's definitely just safe, and he just takes
it's irrelevant. Yeah.
Did Braun? How much Pierce did Braun flip there? That's the only part I missed.
I didn't catch that.
Hey guys, just checking in. Did Braun pierce for the correct amount? Just want to make sure you guys double check that. That's all, because he has the pierce against when he attacks up. I wasn't sure if it was 2 blues. Okay, thanks guys.
So yes,
yeah,
I
said I just didn't. It happened quick. Yeah. And I wanted to make sure.
Well, it's also weird that Braun pierced for so little. Like we're used to seeing him pierce for a lot more. So
yeah, I mean, I played a lot of Braun, and pierce 1 would make me sad.
All right, Ken, how much direct damage do you have that you can do?
He's got a marksmanship.
That's a good start.
Yeah, the problem is you know, he's gonna need like 17 more of those before this is out.
I would agree. but given that he's blue, he may get the time.
Yeah, it's going to take some. I mean, especially if those Brawn attacks are only going to deal 1 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the first idea of what this deck does. It's definitely a lockdown deck. And like I said, he played the MP wave, he locked him out, and all Ken was able to do was shoot a marksmanship and play a pocket presser. Now pocket presser is pretty good. It's gonna help him feel out to draw into those direct damage cards.
Correct.
But the whole truth here is that if he's already going and he's already set up, the game could already be over.
Well, but here's the interesting thing. He whiffed on the upgrade play off of the Springer, so he's going to have to do some work, or maybe he won't, to get that other EMP wave. Okay, I guess there'll be no work needed to be done at all. Never mind.
He found it, and he might have a wish here. Yeah, so he has the wish also, so we can just go and get his third one. So yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
So he has them in hand now. And I'm gonna double check Ken's list if he has any interactions with
Crushing Size, that hurts.
Oh, and he gets the Crushing Size? Yeah, it's such a good card. Yeah, at this point...
More like Crushing Hope. Ah!
Yeah, like I said, at this point, this is like my only issue with the deck, is that, you know, he's going to attack here, and... Alright, so he gets the Pierce 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically. So he gets 3 Pierce 5. So, and this is my issue with the deck, is that, you know, he has the lock and he has, 2 more EMP waves in his hand and stuff like that. But at this point, at this rate, it's going to take,
1,000 years.
the next 25 minutes for him to win this game. And that's the issue. And it's also the problem with here is with Ken. If Ken had a better sideboard option, and then, he's gonna definitely become more aggressive out of the sideboard, but he doesn't have a true answer to this. But at this point, I think Ken should just know that, like, he cannot win this game. So he should just scoop out of it.
To be honest, I wouldn't scoop just yet.
Right, I would take a couple turns.
Well, because he has to, and I'm saying by he, I mean the combo deck player has to demonstrate that they have enough card draw, because now he's played 2 EMP waves. He has 1 more. He's not getting any more beyond that.
Right.
So if they get shuffled into the deck, until you see a setup for an equipment enthusiast, it's entirely possible that you can play a quote-unquote normal game for a few turns in between.
Right.
Especially if Brawn whiffs on Pierce numbers.
Right.
So I could see the logic behind continuing for a few more turns, and then I agree, okay, you need to scoop it up, try and win some game post-board, and go from there.
Yeah, so I totally understand. Like, and it's really just also fishing for information. Because at this point, if like you don't see the DE, then like you can also go in knowing in game 2 you can kind of go in knowing that, like, all right, well, if he's not main decking DE, there's probably a good chance he's not sideboarding it either. I don't like that would be my guess. I'm actually not confirmed even if Neil is sideboarding it or not. I have to go and check.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't when I looked earlier, but I could be wrong.
Right. So to me, that would be the worry, is that like, all right, well, it's just one thing I have to worry, and if all I have to do is worry about EMP waves, then like I could board in a card like Counter Espionage, and I can really slow down this process. If a turn like that were just happened, where he stacked up 2 in his hand, like there's 2 in his hand, so it's like even if he does play the first one, well, you get the Counter Espionage the second one, and then you don't get another turn that like we're about to see.
Right.
Because like you said, you can't wish for any more of them.
Yeah, that was a little silly for a while before that ruling came out.
Yeah, thankfully.
Granted, that predated my knowledge of this, but at the time, the combo decks, just plain DE, was
also before Springer, so.
Yeah.
He was just showing how many cards he had in his hand. That makes sense.
Okay. And now we have the slow grind.
Right, and like this is the thing though, like, I don't know how many, like with marksmanships, like it's not like he has interactions of cards to deal damage to Brawn in alt mode. So throwing the Holomeno on, there's a disarm. I mean, like, that's okay. It's going to keep him off the enthusiast play, right? So like that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not really a great, because I'm assuming he's running the extra padding plan.
Right.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
So
he's shuffling up here now. So now we know that all 3 of those resolves are in, or all 3 of the waves are in the deck. Like he definitely has to find them in the next 3 to 4 cards. Otherwise,
and since
it's
he
not
does
gonna
not
go
have
out.
those paddings, those enthusiasts are going to be much more difficult to.
Right. I
to
mean, he
string
definitely
together.
has 7-8 cards in his hand, so like it's a good chance that you could just set it up and just go with it. But
it's possible, yeah. I mean, it's a good chance for Ken to get in there, maybe get something done.
right,
It's probably the best interval he's going to get.
right.
All right, so we went into alt mode, obviously. He's got to have upgrade plays. Obviously, some of them just got bounced, so
Yeah,
conversion engine.
He's just gonna play a
out.
conversion engine for sure.
Brainstorm.
What do we got? All right.
Ancient Wisdom.
They have well,
Obviously, it's the confidence.
yeah. The wishes aren't gonna matter right now.
I mean,
All right,
if he
in the
cared about any of
confidence.
those other cards,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that he cares about. It's just a matter of go find me.
Yeah, I mean, Resolve, like, he doesn't have to go find Resolve right now. So, like, it's not like he has to go get that card.
I assume that was a kinetic converter and not a conversion engine that just bit the dust, right?
Okay, brainstorm again. He's digging. He's definitely digging.
I mean, this is what he needed. He's now seen 2, 4, 6
So there's
cards.
showing off.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he has 7 cards in his hand.
So at this stage,
he went from each mode actually. So he's just digging.
yeah,
because
he's just digging. Yeah, because the conversion engine EMP wave is where he's trying to set it up, so it's fine. At this stage, I'll be honest. If he EMP waves here,
yeah, which it
and
looks
you
like
don't
he's
flip
setting up
the
to
other
do.
two in combat, I feel like that's where you scoop it up, because it's like, okay, you've drawn that many cards. There's so many in your hand. You're gonna find them again.
Right. Yeah, and so now here's the convergence engine, and here comes the wave.
He's got to have it, right?
He had to find it. Yeah, he
Yep.
did. So yeah, I think I agree here. I think this is definitely the point where you're just like, all right, that's the end of the game.
All right, here's where we Porky Pig it and say that's the show, folks.
I don't know that's going to happen, folks, but that is
Yeah,
that is my
So let's talk about that
Right.
for a second. Like,
Right.
again, we're kind of assuming that the sideboards are a little bit different. A lot of people, in general, Transformers population, aren't accustomed to, okay, why would I want to just give up the game? Shouldn't I just play it out even for the sake of it? But can you talk a little bit about why it would be advantageous here?
well, you know, like I said, I knowing my deck list, if as Ken, I would know that I like just don't have any interaction in the first game here. As soon as he started doing his loops, I agree with what you said about the idea that you can just see a couple turns of it and make sure he has it type scenario. But for me, I don't even know that, like, even if you get a turn, right? Like even say he did miss an EMP turn, I don't know that you can win the game with that free turn.
If he somehow had Sky Shadow combined and, like, okay, you're pushing enough damage, but the two parts and Windsweeper on their own,
Right.
I mean,
They're not
arguably
gonna- they're just-
Windsweeper's at 7, quote unquote, but
Right,
yeah,
right.
you're not pushing enough damage right now.
Yeah, you're just not going to get there. So that's the real issue here is that, you know, and it's good when he flips oranges. At least he makes the pierce a little bit more fun. But, of course, he didn't flip anything else. But that's the thing is that, like, at this point in the game, like, you have to go, all right, I can't win this game. Like, it's evidence. I need to go and look at my sideboard and decide what I can do out of my sideboard to try and win the game. And then, like, what did we do? Oh, we just PCT'd? Okay. That's interesting.
Sure.
Did he PTT off the... Okay, so he's actually going to just try and win the game instead of EMP waving. That's what he just... It looks like that's what he just did, right?
I guess.
Oh, well, he gets
but-
to go again. That's what it is. So now he just...
Well-
yeah. So he PCT here and he gets rid of the fire drive, and now he gets to just do his thing, attack with a bigger dude, and end the game that way. And then he still gets the EMP wave.
I mean, yes, I get what he's doing, but it's not... Oh, wait, Hollow Matter's an armor? I don't know why. I always thought it was a utility.
You have
But
to
yeah,
put
I
your
guess it is an
damage back on Springer, please. Thank you.
armor. So he immediately takes it off.
He
He puts it on and then puts it in front of the character. And then...
I just didn't want it to be lost, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this
To be
is...
fair, I don't think Springer's taking any other damage for the remainder of the game, but...
Well, I would disagree. It's going to take at least 3 from a Sky Shadow combined. No, it won't. No, it won't. Never mind. Hollow Matter's going to prevent that.
Womp womp.
Yeah, so my guess here is like he did get to the point where he's like, all right, I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I can PTT here, and then I can actually do some real damage, and then just EMP wave and end the game that way, which is definitely a better route than trying to win through this Pierce 3, Pierce 3, Pierce 3, Pierce 3.
Right.
I doubt he'll commit any cards to this. Yeah, I don't think he would.
There's no real need to just yet.
I mean, it depends what he's stacking into, because like there's 2 Terrifier and Resilient, so like there's a chance whenever he attacks doesn't die. But
while I agree, I mean, it's more important to continue the lock.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
and ensure that you're still finding the things that you need.
Yeah, like I would probably take this turn. I'd probably get Windsweeper off the board, and then I would combine. I would cap out, and then I would probably go and I would just take out a piece, let him combine, and then wave again, and then the game's just over. You just like, all right, I'll just unload on your Sky Shadow, and it doesn't really matter. Your Ominous is not going to KO me,
No.
That's how I would approach the end of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate the softening up of things with Brawn, and then going into this plan. You're going to find that PTT over the course of the game.
Right.
You have a million turns where you're drawing a gazillion cards, so you'll find the PTT that he has in the list.
But it's like we said, though. So the thing is that what he's giving up is that he is going to give up a Peace through Tyranny. So like if someone just decides to Peace through Tyranny their Sky Shadow, he's going to get a world of hurt. It's going to be a very hurtful play against him, and he doesn't really have an answer to that. So that's the scary part.
I think it's going to depend on what he exposes and when, trying to play around that. So to your earlier point, great, you PTT, are you going to get Springer? It's entirely possible they will, but can you offer up Springer to try and
well, the thing is that the PTT
last through those turns?
The PTT is going to be huge with the Combiner, because he gets the Combine, he gets to untap the Combiner, right? Because the Combiner starts in play untapped, and then he gets the Swing, and then it's now untap, and he gets the PTT turn. So chances are that Sky Shadow is going to KO whatever it wants to.
Right.
And that's
now, by
the
same token, I don't know.
Escape.
I don't think you're going the Brawn route of closing the game out. So it's just offer up Fire Drive, offer up Brawn. Okay, they kill those 2. Who cares? I'll shoot up Springer and tap you out every turn and just kill you with a 9 attack Springer.
I mean, that would be the ideal way. I just don't know that you can set up that easily like that. So that was the fear that I had always had with this list of, if you guys talk about this on Tech Talk, like if you dirtle long enough, you're not going to do anything, you might get punished for it, and that's what I'm worried about this lockdown variant.
Well, it's going to depend on, again, like your earlier point, are people prepared for it? Are people respecting it? Because you give them a lot of time to do something. It's just, what can they do?
Right.
And by the same token, if, say, it's what we saw in the last match, if it's an aggressive, horrible-based Sky Shadow deck, okay, they kill your other 2 guys, they have some amount of damage on Springer, they're not defending for a whole lot, and 9 attack Springers, or if you pump them, and you can continue the EMP wave plan, of course, that's always going on in the back of the mind, you can get there relatively quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot of bodies to go through.
Yeah.
But it's not as though... It's not the same as the Brawn chipping away for 3 damage a turn.
Right. Yeah, well, the good news is, guys, is that we are going to get to see it, because at some point, Neil was going to have to play against one of these decks.
Yep. And he's got to prove it.
Right. Yeah, like this is worst case scenario, like for Ken. Like he just doesn't have the answers to it.
Yeah, it's one of those you sit down and it's unfortunately the matchup you just don't want to see.
Right. But I anyone that asked, I told them. I'm sure people watching in chat, if they asked me, do you think Combo will be in the event? I said, I sure as shit do.
I mean, Ken did make the appropriate play, popping the conversion engine to try and get himself out of it, but obviously Neil was stockpiling.
It's just repetitive at this point.
Yeah, he has so many cards, he has to have it, barring a obscene, catastrophic level of poor variance.
Ooh, armaments. There you go.
Yeah, how about them apples?
I'm wondering, I did talk to Neil about this. I told him he should put a...
There was a quartermaster.
Okay, I talked to him about it. Like, he sent me his final list, and I looked at it. I was like, dude, there's no quartermaster on that list. I was like, you need to have a quartermaster. He goes, I can find room to fit that.
Yeah. There was definitely one that was flipped earlier.
Okay. That's a big defense though.
Yeah, he may get through for nada. That's what it looks like.
It looks like a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
all the blues.
Alas, EMP wave.
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, we still have that. Sken did manage to sneak out a pocket processor, so... Or that is a pocket processor, right?
Yep.
Did he only draw one?
Draw a second card for turn due to pocket processor, please. Unless I missed you drawing two. Okay, cool.
I think he only drew one. Because what I was about to say is it does... I mean, we were harping on this earlier.
Just gives him
his
options.
Out is... Yeah, if he has burn.
Two-pronged.
Two-pronged. I did not anticipate that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, he's got a tank and a plane.
I don't know what just happened.
He
Why
drew
did
two
he just
cards.
draw two?
He was looking... Well, isn't that what it does? Two-prong?
No, it's the combo player discards two.
Oh, that's right.
If he chooses the tank,
That's
and
right.
then it's... Or he
That's not
deals
bad
two.
for what it's worth. I don't have an exact count on Neil's hand because he didn't follow directions, but...
He doesn't have enough dice. I'm guessing somewhere around 15 or 16 cards in hand, based on what's in the discard pile and the 3 cards in his deck.
Right.
So with that, I mean, I get where you're going with it. It does make sense, but it's it's not going to push enough.
Right.
That's a funny card because I really had not high hopes for it, but I was like, okay, this is a sizable amount of discard, and now I'm thinking, if that card made your opponent discard 4 cards or 3 cards, would that be enough to make it happen?
It would definitely depend on where he's at, right? You know, let's say for example, if he had sacrificed some cards to a fire drive earlier, you know.
Oh, I meant more in general, just because I think at this stage he had he would have to feed in half his hand for it to matter.
I knew Neil immediately messaged me after the Soviet Bear matchup the other day. He goes, "I am so glad there's not a shockwave in my." And not only is there not a shockwave, there's not that shockwave because Soviet Bear's list is very discard heavy. So I think it would have been a very, very hard matchup for him to pull off.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely play through those discard elements. It depends on can they chain them and push damage, because it's just... You're going to be limited on the number of plays as a Shockwave player, and it depends on when you hit their hand, because obviously the whole deck is designed to draw. You're going to get out of it eventually.
Right.
Is that a flipped Quartermaster? No, it's a played Quartermaster.
There you go. Boom, boom.
You discard everything to confidence.
Neil, just checking in. Did you discard to confidence? Just want to make sure.
Because he had 2 in there, so there should be at least 4. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I couldn't tell how many cards were there, and I was busy yapping.
Yeah, that's fair.
9, 10, 11, 12 right now. Doesn't look like he fed anything in. Or no, it did. Because those were off the other plays, not flips. Never mind.
Right.
I mean, regardless, this is a going through the motion scenario. That's a lot of cards in hand.
Yeah, he's got plenty. And there's the wave.
Nice. I think it's important to get this, as I know people are making jokes in chat, or at least I see one joke about being a fun interactive game, but I think it's important to get it on stream.
This is a real deck, and it's always been a real deck, and there hasn't been enough of it out there. Are we getting a judge calling by any chance?
I don't know.
His guy is definitely tapped, if that's the question.
Yeah, Ken's guy should be tapped. Well, we're about to find out.
I think he knows it.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, the real truth is that, you know, if you're not prepared to play against a deck like this is what's going to happen. You're just going to lose to this deck. And I've been, you know, me and Vince have been preachers for this for a long time. And I think me and Vince made a joke about it in March, but like it was also pretty much a fact. We were supposed to have a large event on May 2nd, and a lot of people were going to do exactly what Ken did, and they were going to show up and they were going to play a deck, and they were not going to respect combo. And me and Vin were probably both going to play combo.
Yeah, I mean, I probably was. I don't know if you would have 11th hour audible to something more fun.
No.
And I think so one of the points that I would make here is while obviously a lot of people are going to say this is less fun from a gameplay perspective, but
right.
the general competitive sense, you do have to take a step away and say this is pretty much no different than playing arbitrary strong aggro deck. Mm-hmm. The reason I say that is if you don't respect the aggro deck and you play something that's super slow or just, dirtles forever, the aggro decks will eat you alive. And similarly, it's more difficult to imagine the control scenario for that, but that also happens if you don't respect those decks. So it's the same sort of thing. Except, I guess, the play pattern's a little bit different.
Right. Yeah, it's obviously just a slower grind. But the idea that if you do not respect something, you will lose to it. And a deck like Combo, where there are a plethora of cards in the meta that allow you to at least somewhat respect it, at least make their plan harder, at least try and keep them off their game. I think you have to be willing to commit to those plays.
Right. You have to make some effort, and to be honest, depending on what your deck is, if you don't make a lot of effort, it may not matter. But you certainly need to make that initial decision of, am I going to do something, or am I just going to say, well, they got me?
But at this point, it's definitely evident that Ken might have just been playing it out for the camera here.
Yeah, shout out to Ken for toughing it out through this.
Yeah. But
attacking.
Like I said, it looked like he either whiffed on the EMP wave or he just didn't care because he was just gonna let his guy die, and then just end the game with the Springer. That's kind of what it looked like to me, because he purposely didn't EMP. He didn't conversion engine to bot mode at the end of the turn, so I was like, oh, he's just gonna give up his Brawn, and that's okay.
Now, it's entirely possible he just one-shots this guy because he should have 85 cards in hand and can just
he's dead.
Fire drive.
Oh yeah, he's definitely dead.
Because there's no secret action on Ken's board as far as I can tell.
And even if there was, I believe, hold on, I'm trying to remember. I think the fire drive gives it to the weapon, right? So like the sabotage armor would blow it out, or is it the opposite?
No, I think it's
the opposite. Okay. I couldn't remember.
Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it's the opposite.
I think you're right. I think it is I think it gives it to the character.
Yeah, the upgraded character gets +1.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like he fed anything in, which is, I mean, he's scooping it up anyway.
Right.
He might have just had it.
I mean, he had, 9, 10 to start there, so it was
mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to check in with them.
Yep. Hey, it's a loud Matterfer. So I don't know.
I will be.
Oh, there he is.
Yes, sir.
Say again? Yeah, it's one of the big things I always hated about the Springer deck is he's just playing solitaire at this point. So, but it is what it is.
Jempty, you may want to drink some water in between that. Just saying.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
I'm not a doctor, Jempty, but you may want to drink some water. Just saying. Just putting it out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see why that would be an unfortunate hand in Game 2 there, Matterfer.
Yeah, so
yes.
This is what I assumed he was going to do.
Too tall. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes the most sense to me. It just limits Like the Sky Shadow is never going to be relevant, to be honest, without the Piece tyrannies. It would be interesting if he had Piece tyrannies in the board, because like that would be kind of like an interesting turn of events for like the games. But since he doesn't have those things, I think this is just the best answers to just try and limit turns, and you have like two fairly nice attackers and health wise. So like if he doesn't get to it quick enough, like you might be able to punish him for it.
It's possible.
I don't know that you're going to be able to put enough, but
yeah.
I think you're definitely better off doing this than the original plan.
I would definitely agree there. I mean, obviously the previous plan was not going to go well. So the question is he's only at 22 stars there.
Yeah, I believe.
So I'm very curious what else he's bringing in.
I believe I sent you the list earlier. I'm going to look at it again.
Oh, I know. I'm looking at chat at the moment, so that's why I don't have it up.
Okay. Actually, he doesn't have any star cards in there. Oh, Pincer Move It. Yeah, that's right. He turns this guy into Thrust.
That's actually
really
it's not
cool,
just Thrust.
right?
He's gonna have +5.
Right. That's really cool. So
that actually okay.
That's
So we have some quirks this game. This could get cheeky.
Yeah, well, that's an actual thing. So it could be interesting on what happens now. Because like I tell you what, if I were sitting across from this, I would not expect pincer movement. So,
well, yeah. Does anybody ever expect pincer movement?
I don't know.
Now, here's the thing: is you don't have as much flexibility because thrust, obviously, thrust is on board, so you always have it. B,
right.
You can do it on turn 1. You cannot with the pincer movements.
Right.
So it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but it's definitely a very cool thought to go that route.
Yeah, so I mean I knew he had something and I couldn't remember. I just as soon as you said the star cards, I'm like, wait a minute, I think that's what it was.
That's actually really awesome. I do seriously like that idea. It's very unique.
Like I said, it's one of those things where like I don't, if I were sitting across from this, I would not expect pincer movement. So it may very well catch Neil off guard. And like I said, Neil's gonna have a lot less time to set up now. So
yep.
It's very possible that he doesn't get this lock. And on top of that, the weirder thing is the EMP wave is like super awkward now because like even when he would go to do it, like Ken's still gonna get a third attack minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be the weird thing.
All right. So the question is, the pincer movement plan is revealed.
Damn it!
I hope he has one in hand anyway. He's banking it the whole time. All right, I'm going to play favorites. I want to see Ken pincer movement and just blow up Springer.
Oh, I totally want to see it happen.
I want it to happen so bad.
It'd be very. It's all we really can hope for right now. So like, I definitely.
Interesting's not even the word anymore. It's going to be hype. That's going to be hype as fuck because that would be awesome. That looks like an Energon Mace.
Yeah, get some attacks.
So there was no damage that was put on. Oh no!
He attacks Springer first.
What?
Oh yeah.
No damage put on Ion Storm. I mean to move to Windsweeper to fling.
The second pincer movement. No.
But why didn't he flip? I guess he wanted the extra defense.
I don't know.
Because obviously he's gonna punch Windsweeper, right?
Right. The Ion Storm is it when he attacks or is it when he flips to it?
Ion Storm, you mean the bounce ability?
Yeah.
It's on the bot mode.
It has to deal damage
when he attacks.
Right?
No, it's just when he attacks.
Okay. So yeah, so that's going to come into play also because he can just continuously bounce that back, and he's just going to set him back that way.
Yeah, it's definitely going to. I mean, it's not a lock by any means, but it's definitely going to be a thorn in his side.
Right.
So the obligatory showing off.
It's not only good with Perceptor. Spoiler, it was really good with Springer before Perceptor existed.
Everybody forgot about that. And the obligatory conversion engine, since now he's seen like nearly half his deck.
Right. But like I said, the EMP wave doesn't do anything on this turn.
Correct.
So, like he's 100% going to get a third attack. So if he was able to find a pincer movement, like he could have made a real interesting time of this.
I mean, he has out of combat, like unless he boarded out those marksmanships, yeah, he could push a bunch of damage with a pincer movement and then potentially burn out Springer, because Springer's going to be in bot mode on his turn.
Yep.
Like, all these things are possible. It would be really cool. Come on. Ken sandbag. You ever see the movie Maverick from back in the day?
Yeah.
Terrible movie, but
so he just
they had that
the
scene
EMP
at the
wave.
end.
He does know that doesn't do anything, right?
Actually, no,
guys.
It does.
Hold on. No.
Yeah, because you untap at the end of combat because everybody's tapped, and then at the end of turn.
All right, you guys are fine. Sorry. You still have to attack though, right? You did attack with your Springer, because he's tapped out, so you get 2 attacks. So you have to attack in your alt mode and then go through the hoops.
I'm fairly certain that's how the sequencing is. We got the other half of Shuffle Bus in chat.
That's what I'm saying, though. Everything's tapped, so it would have been triggered.
Well, everybody's tapped, then at the end of combat, you untap, and then the EMP, or the conversion engine goes off.
Right. Neil, you can still play the EMP wave. The way the combat's going to work, guys, is that when you attack, everybody untaps as the last combat. So then your conversion engine would go off after that, and then you would be able to EMP wave. So it would still work. Hold on, he can't hear me. I can't hear you. Hold on. Yeah, talk to me, Neil.
Okay. I was just trying to shortcut by not untapping guys and immediately tapping them again.
Right.
So we should be in this state going into his turn.
Yeah, you still missed the attack. I just went back to the attack, that's all. I'm just making sure. That's fine.
Right, okay.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying that earlier, and it didn't quite process the way you were describing why he was getting the third attack until it happened. Right. And I'm like, wait, that doesn't work. So
yeah, I was thinking,
does work, I guess, depending on what intent.
I was thinking he would. Sorry, guys, you can still hear me. I was thinking that he might miss the trigger if that were the case, but it's in the combat, so you definitely do not miss the trigger.
Right.
So that's where it ends up.
Which is a point of when this first was revealed. Is Ken give it up? He's just walking away.
I mean, he might as
Let me know when it's my turn again.
It's funny. I don't know if anyone else saw him get up, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah, he was just checking something. I'm making a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that people had pointed out. Oh, can they just change the rules and move the untapped portion to the very last thing you do in a turn, for example? But it does cause weird interactions with other cards. I think the main example is Dreadwing, but like,
it's also it's the wording on the way they worded cards in the game. It would affect way more than just this concept.
Yeah, I'd have to go through and look at the other ones. Dreadwing was always the examples that was handed to me, and I'm like, I don't care enough about Dreadwing. If he gets a buff out of this, okay, who cares?
Right.
It's just other things, other unintended consequences.
Right.
Is that counter espionage main in that combo list?
I believe there's a 1 of main, yes, or maybe even 2 of.
I'm curious if he boarded those in anticipation of something coming out of the board. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, you have to play them, right? Because like if he has the hijacks and the speed traps, like you have to have answers to it.
Absolutely.
And like, I'm sure there's plenty of dead cards in his list that like he doesn't need also for the matchup, so it's just easy.
Absolutely. I was going to say you can have an argument or a discussion about against these slower blue decks that they're going to give you 1,000 turns anyway. So, okay, I'll just pass turn and let your secret action expire. But there are other ones, namely the Thrust Optimus things that you can't afford it.
He's scooping it up.
It's.
All right, I'm gonna close down chat for a second here, guys. Hey guys. I can hear you, Vince. Hey Ken, can you hear me? All right, I'm gonna hang up this call. Thank you guys for playing on stream. I'm gonna wrap up stream and then don't go anywhere, Ken. Okay, I'm gonna call you back. All right. Thanks, guys. I closed it out. All right, so it's just us. Okay, guys, so that is that's exactly what combo can do, unfortunately.
Yes.
And if you're not prepared for it, that's what's going to happen. And it's one of those things that it didn't go anywhere in this meta. There are a lot more answers to it, but once again, if you don't play the answers, then combo's going to do it at once.
Now, there's an argument to be made, even with the answers, depending on what the build is and what shapes up, that it can still push through things. But that's what this is for, kind of.
Right. But hey, like I said, this is if you didn't understand combo and you didn't see it before, this is the way to look at it. This is like to know that okay, that deck's real, it exists, and if I'm not ready for it, I'm gonna be punished. And it's that's just the way this game is, and that's for any deck in the meta. If you decide that you want to lose bugs, you're gonna lose the bugs. You decide you want to lose to Airstrike Patrol, you're gonna lose the Airstrike Patrol. If you decide you want to lose the combo, you're gonna lose the combo. And I know it feels bad because it looks worse because of the way combo plays out, but that's at the end of the day, that's no real different than any other deck in the meta.
Yeah, I mean the only difference, as we were alluding to earlier, is how you feel on the other end of the table. I think we've all beaten and lost to aggro decks and control decks. Mm-hmm. It is notably different when it's this sort of thing. But from the competitive player standpoint, you kind of have to take yourself out of the equation there emotionally and just go, yeah, it's no different. It's a deck. It has answers. I need to make a meta call when I'm building whatever I'm building.
Right. So this was just a lesson for everybody. And this won't be the only time Neil's on stream. Neil will be on stream again, and you'll get to see that deck against something that, maybe actually has some answers to it, so you can see how you can also combat with it as well. Because, there's not everyone didn't play anything in their sideboard for combo. So there's definitely other players that did respect it. So
as you mentioned, the Shockwave lists and other things that may just inherently have a better matchup.
Right. So we will do our best to get one of those matchups on stream as well, so we can also see it from that angle and see how you can interact with it.
Yeah, it certainly looks hopeless from this scenario, but it's not as bad as it appears.
Right. But that is going to do it for us tonight. And I just wanted to thank everyone for hanging out. It was kind of just a last minute thing for us to stream out, but we got there. So thanks for coming in. If you guys just found that at the end here, I'm sorry. It was a little short tonight. We had 2 2-0 matches, so it went a little faster, but I believe I can confirm that me and Stefan will be on Monday night, so you can look out for that.
Monday night bot fights.
All right, thanks everyone for hanging out. Have a good night, guys.
Later.